So good to see you again for session 2.
Good to see you.
And so let's start. We always sort of start the lesson with a recap as to what we did last session.
Okay.
So can you remember what we did and what we covered?
Went over cockpit drill and how to set up the car. So just seats, just steering wheel, set mirrors up correctly. Then go over sort of various components of the car. So brake, the pedals, the handbrake, how to change gears, clutch control. Then tried first, second gear pulling out of like grassy verges, really.
yeah. Good. So good memory there. Yeah. So let's start with recapping the setup of the seat.
Yep.
Can you remember what the very first thing is that you need to do when you jump in the car to determine where the seat needs to be?
Put your feet on the clutch and make sure there's a slight bend in the knee.
Awesome. What part of the foot are you pressing the pedal with?
Balls of your feet.
Excellent. Good. So if you want to do a quick, I call it a clutch test.
Yeah.
If you want to do a quick clutch test and see if you've got that slight bend on the left knee. Or would you say that is a slight bend or a bit of a stretch there?
No, I think that's a slight bend.
For me there, I'd say that's a bit of a stretch, because just press that down again. Can you see it's a bit of an effort? You've got to always lift your backside off the seat a bit to stretch and get it down.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we're on the move, and because we're going to be stopping a bit more today and changing gear a bit more. Every time you stop, you need to get the clutch down, and that could be a bit of an issue. You might not get it down in time.
Yeah. Okay.
So cool. Yeah, just move that seat a couple of clicks forward there. Just hold on to the steering wheel so you don't go flying backwards. There we go. Another quick test there. How's that?
Yeah, I'm not moving my bum off the seat, so that's good stuff. Yeah.
So you get down with a bit more conviction there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So now that your seat's set, we know that you can see over the front. That's obvious.
Not a problem, yeah.
What comes next? Can you remember? He was going slow, wasn't he?
Yeah. Adjust the mirrors to cover as much as you can.
Yeah, so
adjust the steering wheel if you needed to.
Yeah. I mean, if you did mirrors then steering, it's not the end of the world, to be fair. So you said mirrors. So what would you be setting with your mirrors then? We'll start with centre mirror. What do you need to see out of that one?
All four corners of the back windscreen.
Good stuff. And what can you see at the moment?
What would be the top left and right corner, but I can't see all four corners at the moment.
Is that because of the child seat in the back, or is that?
No, that's just because it's slightly off.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So can you remember how to adjust that? Try and do it with your left hand so that your body stays in the seat. It depends how tall people are sometimes. It might not too much of a difference with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. And then the door mirrors, I think the keys are still in there. Yeah. Do you remember how many clicks to turn the ignition on?
1 click.
Awesome. And what do you need to see in your door mirrors? Can you remember there, Will?
About 10% of the bodywork of the car.
Yep.
And then that's all I can remember, actually.
Yeah, so 10% of the bodywork of the car, so we know where we are in relation to things, or they are to us. And half earth, half sky in the background, basically. So you're not looking up at sky or down at the floor.
Yeah.
And what can you see in relation to that reference at the moment? Do you need to move it at all?
Yeah. Probably move it a little bit. Move it a little bit further up, because I think I'm a bit taller than you.
Okay. Do you remember how to do it?
Yeah. Slide over to the left and.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's about 10% of the car.
Okay. The
other one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, good stuff. And so steering wheel, I think we had it all pulled all the way out for you, didn't we, last week? So that's still going to be good there. Can you see your miles per hour in the middle display there?
Yep.
Yeah. And headrest, where should the headrest be set?
Set so a bit further up, so it hits the back part of the skull.
Yeah, that's it. So good stuff. Yeah, so offering maximum protection there. And that's about it really, isn't it there? Everything's set up now, and just one more thing to go on before we drive on is your seatbelt.
Yeah.
How would you check that seatbelt's in good working order?
Don't know actually. Yeah.
Just give it a good tug, really. You know, as you put it on. Okay, just a few questions about the mirrors then, just to confirm your understanding. What's the difference between the centre mirror and the two-door mirrors?
Centre mirror is just a flat pane, whereas these are convex, so that gives you a true representation of how far away things are. That makes things seem further away than they are.
Excellent, good stuff. Okay, and what are blind spots?
The positions you can't see in the mirror.
Good, so what would you do to check where are the blind spots? How would you check them?
You'll lean over on your left and right. Well,
yeah, brilliant, good. Okay, so much quicker than last week setting the car up.
Yeah.
But it's all about putting the understanding there last week. So, let's recap moving off and stop then, because that's what we're going to do now. I think we'll start off with that, because you only did it for the first time last week, didn't you? So I don't want to chuck you in doing other stuff before we've, well...
mastered it, yeah.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say mastered it, but at least got you so you're more or less doing it the majority by yourself. It's always the pulling in that people take a bit longer with, from my experience. And just to reconfirm, I mentioned a reference point to you last week, the parking reference point. I said that to park, the reference point would be 1/3 across the dashboard.
Yep.
Where does the curb appear right now?
In the central mirror.
Sorry, on the, you know, as you look at the dashboard in front of us, where does the curb line appear? It's a straight road in front of us.
Right in the centre.
In the middle, yeah. So apologies for that. I got it for some reason mixed up. You wouldn't think I'd been doing this job for a couple of years, would you? So yeah, so when you're parking today, try and replicate that reference point there. You should have that gap between bodywork and curb. So what system did we use to get ready to drive last week? It was a little acronym.
Yeah, prepare, observe, or POM. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
prepare, observe, move.
That was it. Yeah, it was observe. Yeah.
So to prepare the car, just talk me through what you did, if you can.
Turn the ignition on.
Yeah.
And then take the handbrake off and put the car into neutral.
Well, to prepare to prepare the car, you wouldn't want to. The handbrake's already on, so that's fine, and we wouldn't take that on.
No, you take that off. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, instead of neutral? Did you mean first? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter. I'll refresh your memory now. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
So to prepare the car, what we did was we put the clutch down, selected first using the palming technique. We set the gas with the ball of the right foot. Do you remember how much gas we set?
1,200 revs, or about a pound depth.
Good stuff. And then once we've got that set and froze, we come up on the clutch and we found the bite. Do you remember how you'd know you was at the bite? Well,
the engine note drops down and then the bonnet raises up a slight bit.
Good. And when you got to the bite, what did you do with your left foot, like you did with your right?
Free.
Kept it still.
Yeah.
And then your left hand was on your handbrake ready to release. Your right hand was ready to steer. Is this ringing some bells now?
Yeah.
And then we did the observations. We did a 6-point check. Would you be able to remind me where you checked at all? Where you started and where you finished? Before you moved off?
Well, it'd be the sort of the blind spots in your the blind spots, the wing mirrors, the central mirror, and looking forward.
Awesome. So we'll just work round in a sort of a logical order, from left to right. It could be somebody coming out that driveway around the back, couldn't they, or somebody crossing, coming down on a bike that could come in front of the car. Left door mirror for the same thing really. Centre mirror, right door mirror, right shoulder, looking forward. You're all prepared then, aren't you? Handbrake off. Keep your feet fairly still to begin with. Let the clutch plates fuse together, and the car will start moving off then. How should you hold the steering wheel in terms of grip?
Very lightly. Well, fingertip touch.
Yeah, that sort of thing, because it's power steering, so don't hold it too rigid, or else it's going to be difficult to steer.
Yeah.
So, when we move off on the first one, do you want to stay in first, or do you want to get into second? So now we changed gear to second last week. What would make you feel more comfortable?
I think staying in first.
Staying first, that's fine. We're only going to be driving a short distance down the road. I think near, do you see where the second warning triangle is down up ahead? So we'll be pulling up on the left somewhere there. Before we do though, before we get going, let's recap the stopping part.
Yep.
We're checking the mirrors in pairs. Do you remember which one we check first, which shows a true image, like you told me earlier?
The centre mirror.
Good stuff. And then for parking on the left, it's going to be
the left mirror.
Awesome. Are we always going to signal? What do you remember about
that? Depends if there's any ones that will benefit from it.
Good stuff. I should have mentioned that when moving off as well. Consider a signal, and we're going to do the same when we move in. We'll know if there's anything in front, obviously, because we're looking forward when we're driving, and we'll know if there's anything behind from the two mirrors that we're going to check. When you've checked your mirrors, come off the gas. Do you remember which two pedals to cover? That you're going to be using to slow down and then stop the car from stalling.
And clutch and brake.
Clutch and brake. So just cover those. Do you remember how to brake so it's not too harsh?
Like 10 pence step.
Yeah. And just hold 10.
Yeah.
And hold it. Just see how you go, because you might just want to get yourself in next to the curb before you actually stop it completely. Okay. Once you've stopped, what did you do with your feet until you put something on? A couple of things.
Hold them until.
That's right.
Yeah.
Keep them still until you've put the
handbrake on
and into neutral.
Yeah.
Good. So should we go over that live then now and do that?
Yeah, go on.
Actually get it going. All right then. I'm going to go through again the system prepare, observe, move with you. So if you want to pop the clutch down with the ball of your left foot. Sorry, start the engine up as well before you do. Good. So yeah, clutch down the ball of your left foot, palm the gear stick to the left first, and then into first gear. Now with the ball of your right foot, set the gas, thickness of a pound coin or 1,200 revs. That's fine there, keep your foot froze. And then we're going to find the bite point. We're going to cup a centimetre width hold, just so we're measuring it, so we're not just bouncing up on the clutch. And we're looking for that bite again. You told me earlier how you'd identify it, so try and identify it again. I'll shut up so you can hear the sound. Yeah, happy. So keep them feet still. We're on a bit of a slope as well, and that bite point will cater for that. We won't roll backwards. Keep them still. Left hand on handbrake. Good. And your right hand ready to steer. So check left shoulder, left door mirror, centre mirror, right. Just got a van turned in behind us, so just keep everything still as it stands. Just lower the bike just a couple of millimetres downwards. Another millimetre downwards and freeze it there. Right, another quick check round, left shoulder, blind spot, door mirror, centre mirror, right, okay, just got another car turning behind us there. And we'll try again, shall we? Yeah. So same again, left shoulder, door mirror, centre mirror, right door mirror, right shoulder, looking forward, handbrake off, keep feet still, handbrake off all the way, that's it, left foot up a millimetre only, another millimetre only, another millimetre only, freeze it there, check your centre and right mirror now, start to steer out to the right nice and loose, that's it. We're going to be a good metre as we pass the car, just so we're not too close, well done. That's good. And just make sure your left foot's all the way off the clutch pedal now. We're going to come past the junction on the left, yeah? And we're going to pull up in between the two warning triangles up in the air. Can you see that? Yeah. So we're going to check your centre and your left door mirror. Just after that tree. So pop a left signal up if there's anybody behind to benefit. That's it. Come off the gas. Cover the brake. With the right foot, not the left. Steer right just a little bit. Clutch down. Steer right, not left. Sorry, that's it. Right more. And that braking's good there. And just be ready to squeeze on the brake there. very good job there. Well done. Keep your feet still. And what would you do now before you move them feet? You told me earlier.
Put the handbrake.
Yeah. And one more thing with the gear stick.
Put it back into neutral.
Awesome. Awesome. And just cancel the signal there. All right.
Nope, wrong way.
Yeah, just got to do it. Better to do it with your fingers.
Okay.
You know, so that you're not actually doing it with the pressure of your arm, like sort of thing. You're
Yeah.
quite a strong lad, aren't you? So yeah, just sort of let it sort of bounce back to the middle rather than
Okay.
putting it there.
Right.
Or I'll sort of go the other way. So good job there. Nothing really to add too much, apart from potentially would have left the handbrake on if I hadn't told you.
Yeah.
You know, when moving off. So don't let go of the silver button until the handbrake hits the floor, and that way you'll know it's off. So when it hits the floor, the handbrake, you'll hear this. I'm going to put my foot on the foot brake. You'll hear this, and then release the button, yeah?
Okay.
Or else it'll just latch itself on. Okay, so any questions from yourself?
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try it again. Do you want to stay in first gear again for this one, or do you want to go in and look to go into second gear?
Here we go once more. Yeah.
In first gear?
Yeah.
That's fine. So we're going to use prepare, observe, move. So to prepare the car, what are you going to do with your left and right foot? Start with the left foot.
So put the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what gear are you going to select once your clutch is up firmly on the floor?
first gear.
Yeah. So. And before you find the bite, how many revs are you going to set with your right foot? How much gas are you going to set?
About pounds depth or 1,200 revs. Yeah.
Good, yeah. 1,200 metres would be a lot of gas, wouldn't it? That's good. And if you find your bite now, very good. Freeze it there. Just lower the clutch a couple of mil. There, that's perfect. Or just up 1 millimetre. There's variants. There's various degrees of the bite point. There's a high bite point, low bite point, holding bite point. So it's important that we don't have it too high because we'll be racing off.
Yeah.
But that's perfect there. So keep feet still, left hand on the handbrake ready to release. And we're going to start the check. If it appears to be clear, which it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in front. So check left shoulder,
Yep.
working your way around. Good, well done, and keep feet still. Handbrake off. Clutch up 1 millimetre only. Millimetre freeze. Millimetre freeze. Clutch plates are just fusing together now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening under there. And coming all the way off. I don't want you to slow down for this speed bump, because we're already going slow anyway, so that's fine. There's enough room for us and the other car to fit through. You just steer left a little bit. That's fine. Just check your centre mirror, see if there's anything behind. Well done. And we're going to pull in on the left near the second lamppost, roughly. So which two mirrors are you going to check?
The left mirror and the centre mirror.
Good, yeah. Any need for a signal?
No.
We'll pull in just after the junction. We can park on the zigzags because of the sign there. It says no stopping only until 4 PM. So come off the gas, cover your brake with your right foot. We only brake with the right foot, and cover your clutch with your left. Get your reference there. Once it's there, straighten the car by steering right. That's good. And clutch down first. Oh God, that's fine. Don't worry about that. And brake to a smooth stop. Good. And before you do anything else now, what are you going to do to secure the car?
Put the handbrake on and put it back into neutral.
Good.
Click.
It doesn't click on the way up unless you don't have the button pressed in. So that's the way you'd know that's on, is if you try and pull it.
Yeah,
it won't.
yeah.
That's it. Okay. And just relax. How did you find that?
It's alright, but there's still work, I think, yeah. Like,
What do you feel needs work?
I think it's just putting it all together. I think I'm still trying to think of like, I'll do this, do that, and it's, yeah, still don't think it's completely natural.
No. Well, that's normal, I suppose.
I think it's probably more like setting off is fine, going down the road is fine. It's when I pull in, that's where my brain goes a bit. Yeah.
Yes, I probably should address now that you're positioning your left foot to brake.
Yeah.
Thank God you're not braking with your left foot.
Yeah.
Left foot braking's never a good thing. I want you to, with your right foot, so you see where it's in the braking position now, that's perfect. Just practice now pivoting, because that's what the right foot does.
Yeah.
It should pivot between brake and gas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Just so you're not moving the whole leg and the whole foot. You might have to if you're very, very small, because your feet won't be big. But that's it. That's perfect what you're doing down there. So that's what you do. When I say cover brake, you just, because your heel should be anchored in on the floor, and you just go across like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the left foot normally just sits, sort of near or below the clutch anyway. Really. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's about it, really, isn't it? I mean, the rest of it is just practicing now.
Yeah.
The main plan for today is to get you more or less independent with this, if possible. It doesn't matter if you're not by the end.
Mm-hmm.
What I do want to add in as well, because as we go down the road, is we're going to come to some meeting situations. Do you know what a meeting situation is?
When you come across another car, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and when the road's not wide enough for two to get through, or maybe it is, but you need, first of all, you need to realise that. You need to assess the road. Oh, if a car comes, would two fit through, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll do a bit more moving off and stopping first, and then I'll bring that in.
Okay.
If we come to a meeting situation before that, I'll talk you through it, but I think at the moment the road should be wide enough for us to get through anyway. Alright,
Okay.
is that alright with you?
Yeah.
Happy to go into second gear on the next one, or would you like to stay in first?
Yeah, I think we'll give it a go, yeah.
Yeah?
Why not?
Okay. That's fine. So, we're going to use prepare, observe, move again to get you going. So what's the first thing going to do with your left foot?
Put the clutch down.
Okay. What gear are you selecting?
First gear.
Okay. What are you doing with your right foot at this point?
Setting the revs and then checking the bike.
Good. So if you want to do that. Good stuff. So freeze it there. And your hands need to be prepared as well. Well done. And where are you going to check then, Will, before we move off?
Yeah, 6 mirrors.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, well
Left
done.
blind spot.
Good. Okay, and handbrake and off. How are you going to lift that clutch up so it doesn't bounce forward? How many? What?
Millimetre.
Yeah. So if you do that, just at a very steady. Just ease off the gas there a little bit. Just let that one pass. Very steady feet there you've got. And so which mirrors are you going to check now to see if anything's behind?
Central and right.
Okay. When you're moving off initially, just have that, after you've checked around, it could be time between when you've checked over there and you actually get going. So just check the centre before you move off. Just for when you've got cars passing like that, you might just hold the clutch still and you'd stay still then, rather than moving out at the same time. Okay, so you've checked your mirrors. It's safe to up the speed, yeah? So a little bit more gas. Remember, what we're going to do with the feet is we're going to use opposites. So you'd come off the gas, don't do it now, but you'd come off the gas, your clutch would go down, and you'd palm the gear stick backwards into second. So keep accelerating, start positioning out to the right there. Check your centre and right mirror just before we do. That's it. A little bit more gas, because we'd have to get the engine ready for a gear change if we was going to do one. I wouldn't advise to do one just yet, because we can't see what hazards around this bend. Yeah. This car could pull out. Just position on our side a little bit. Keep gas on though. Keep the speed just at the same sort of pace, or else this blue car might think that we're letting it reverse out from the driveway, for example. We don't want to give it the wrong impression. Speed's good at the moment, just keep it on that thickness of the gas. Nice loose grip with the steering. And when we get on the straight, because I know your steering's all new to you at the moment, when we get on the straight we're going to look to change the gear. So keep on the gas at the same pace, at the same rate as you was before, same thickness rather. Bit more gas, bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more gas, bit more gas, bit more gas, more gas, more gas, more gas, thicker, and I want you to do the opposite feet. So clutch down, gas off now, gear stick backwards. Okay, I'm going to go back into, I'm just going to take control there, because we're on a hill. Just come off the pedals for me. Yeah, and we're going to put on a left signal there, and just come off the clutch pedal completely for me. Cheers. Now what happened there was the gear change took
too long.
A bit long, yeah, and because it was on a hill, when the clutch went down, the car became a dead weight. The dead weight was travelling up a hill, or if you stop pedalling on your push bike uphill,
yeah, you're just going to stop and roll back.
Exactly. So that's what started to happen. It's a little bit my fault, really, because I didn't recap the gear change with you on the while we were stationary. So I think you might have got away with it if your gear technique had been okay.
Yeah.
How would you normally go from first to second so it doesn't bounce back to neutral? Do you remember what we did in the previous lesson with the palming technique?
Do
you remember which way we did it? Do you want me to?
Just, yeah, like flick it, let it bounce back to neutral, and then.
You would if you was going second to third, so I'll just demonstrate.
Yeah, go on.
If you was in second and you wanted to go to third, you would bounce
full, yeah,
and then you'd just push forwards. But if you're going first to second, you don't want it to bounce. So if you I think you grabbed it like, or held it on the top,
yeah,
and if you just moved it backwards and it did that, we don't want it to do that because fourth sits under there. What you want it to do is...
Oh, you have to push it to the left hand side, yeah.
That's it. So just show me how you'd do that. Perfect, yeah. And then you'd bring your clutch up. Okay. Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit my fault really for not recapping that with you before we knew, well, I knew we was going to do second gear. So just bounce that into neutral. I'll come off the clutch. So what we're going to look at now is doing the same thing. We'll move off from stationary, but it'll be an uphill start. I don't think we've done one of these before, have we? I might have mentioned it. Basically, your clutch needs to be higher than usual. You know where you freeze your clutch usually? It needs to be a little bit, slightly bit higher than usual. Maybe a millimetre or two, but basically more of a tug on the front, you know, where the front lifts.
Yeah.
Freeze it there, a smidge more gas than usual, and just be a bit steadier lifting up on the clutch, but then again you're really steady at that anyway, because you've got to get this mass going up this hill from nothing and get them plates connected inside. Okay, any questions?
I think we'll be
the reason I took control there, I just didn't want us to sort of roll back, because there was a car behind there, so yeah.
No, that's okay.
Alright, so we're going to use prepare, observe, move again. So if you want to prepare the car, just with your feet first. Good, and what gear are you going to use?
First gear.
Yeah. Good job with the gas there. I'll just help you with the bike point. It's a bit different to what we usually do. So we'll find the usual tug. There. That's fine. That should be fine there, to be honest. So keep your feet still, hand on your handbrake, check round from left to right in all the zones of vision that we discussed. Okay, handbrake off, keep feet still, handbrake all the way off. That's it, it was only just a bit on. Don't lift up on the clutch too much, just let that car pass. Check your mirrors centre right, make sure it's safe to steer out, is it? Yeah, okay, so steering out, let go with the left hand so we're not so glued to the steering wheel. Steer a bit more to the right, that's it. That's it. Okay, a little bit more gas then. Nothing overtaken, is this there on the right door mirror? No, so it's safe to speed up, that's good. So it's getting, the car's getting to it, be ready for a gear change now. Just steer us so we're ready to overtake this white van. Remember, it's going to be opposite feet, but you must use the palming technique, or else it'll take too long to get the gear change. Yeah, just wait, see what. That's fine. Go for it. Yeah, that's good. Well done. We're just going to keep following the road ahead now. road should be wide enough to get 2 cars through. If a bus come, we'd have to think about it, but I'd guide you through, so don't worry if it appears. Try not to look at the feet, look at the road ahead if it's possible. Just to remind you, when we do stop, we're not going to yell, but when we do, it's going to be right foot to brake, yeah?
Yeah.
So this car looks like it could be coming down the road.
Yeah.
Stay positioned as though we're going to come through, but start to brake with the right foot. Start to brake. Just the thickness of 1/10 pence. So that's holding back there. So we're going to tuck into that gap as that moves forward. Keep straight here.
Yeah.
Keep driving through. Steer right so we don't clip the mirror there. So as we steer left now, it'll come through and we'll be able to come up the hill there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let go with the left hand so you're able to pull the steering wheel down to your lap. Steer more, Will. Now to the left quite a bit, that's it. Don't come off the brakes now, that's fine. Now we're going to look to pull up for the silver car.
Okay.
Car's rumbling, but don't worry, it won't stall. Check your centre and
Centre and left.
good. Get your reference point in. You're covering your clutch, that's fine. Steer right, clutch down, and brake to a gentle stop. Squeeze. Good. And then.
Oh no.
And then before you
Put the hand. Yeah.
That's
take
it.
it out. Yeah.
Go on then, if you want to do that then. And then what else would you do with the gear stick?
Put it back into neutral.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
If you remember any bits, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't wait for me to say. If you can remember it, that's fine. But if not, that's also fine. Do you know why it stalled then? The engine cut off, didn't it, as we stopped? Well, not as we stopped, but as you lifted off the clutch pedal.
No.
Just because it was still in first gear.
Okay.
So what you'd do is you would be stopped, your clutch would have gone down, you'd have braked to a stop, your feet would stay there, handbrake first, then neutral, and then you can come off the clutch. Otherwise, you're in gear still, and as far as the car knows, you're telling it to go, because up off the clutch means go.
Yeah.
So it's not clever enough to know that actually you stopped and you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. That's pretty good there. I'm glad you didn't lose your cool coming up to the silver car. As I said last week, I will not let you,
That's good to know.
drive into anything like that. Good, yeah. So, how do you find the gear change?
Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still definitely needs more practice, but it's not going to happen overnight.
No. So the next thing I want to add in is meeting situations and sort of stop starting, because every time we've stop started so far, it's been always handbrake on and then feet set, but that's not that realistic, because when you're at junctions you're going to have braked to a stop and then you've got to find your feet while the car, it may even be rolling ever so slowly, which is also fine as long as you're not rolling into danger.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to turn onto the next road there. We'll pull up, we'll talk through a brief, and it'll still be the same, moving off, pulling in, but in the meantime we might have to deal with traffic. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do what's called an angle start here. I don't expect you to do it. What I want you to do is the steering.
Okay.
I'll be in control of the feet, because at the end of the road here we've got a junction,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it's on a really steep hill for one. We've not talked about junctions, it's too early to be doing junctions. So I just want you to steer for me like we did last week, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just restart the engine for me. Before we do move on as well, we didn't talk about lights last week, but it's quite dull today, would you agree?
Yeah, there's a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bright.
Why do you think might use lights in the, I mean this is classed as daytime I suppose, why would you use lights in the daytime? Because we can see, can't we? It's not going to help us see. Lights aren't really for that really, unless it's main beams or headlights as they're referred to.
I don't know. Yeah, outside of just maybe helping other drivers see things around corner. Like if you go around the corner, you'll see the light before you potentially recognise the cars there.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're doing it. We want to be seen earlier.
Yeah.
So if we're at that dodgy junction where nobody can see, they might see our lights reflecting off the road,
Yeah,
particularly if it's wet. we can reflect off you know, shop windows and stuff if there is any, or car body panels on bends. So yeah. Another method, just while we're on that topic, if you're reversing up a driveway and you can't see very well, always put your windows down so you can hear. You'll hear things before you see it. I always used to do that coming off my old house on the driveway, because otherwise, it was quite difficult. Let's just say that. Okay, so I'm going to prepare the car. I'm going to allow you to steer, basically, to get around this car. So we're quite close, aren't we? So you're going to need to steer quite quickly. The bite point I'm going to find is the holding bite point, I hope. If it's not, I'll just adjust it anyway. I'll go a millimetre down and hold it still to give you time to get the steering on. Well, I'll be moving ever so slightly, but so I think I've got the holding point there. Checking around. Then just steer. So remember what we said, push-pull method last week. So right hand down all the way, and then left. So left hand. That's it. That's it. And then so your hands should meet top and bottom, if you can, until you've got the lock on. That's it. And now position your left hand to the top, and I want you to start steering left now, and your right should meet the left at the very bottom. Swap left to the top, swap again and meet the hands. That's better. So you have both hands are moving. That's it. And now steer us straight. That should be about right there. Okay, just apply a little bit of gas for me, not too much. I want you to, and that's fine, just ease off there. I want you to check your centre mirror and your right mirror, and I want you to signal up for right just with your finger on the indicator stick. Position with the white line as it bends there. I'm going to slow us down here. Come off the gas now. Steer right, let go with that left a bit so you're not too froze on the, let go with the left hand so you're not too froze with the hands on the steering wheel. Position your left hand back to the, and then with the right, because we're turning right, I want you to position it to the top of the steering wheel. So you're able to, right hand, so you're able to steer right, so right hand from 12 to 6. So looking both ways, just look with me, right, left, and steer right now, Chris. And steering left now, steer left. Steer left, just back into our own side of the road. Okay. So what I'm going to do, in fact, I'm just going to take control there. I'll reverse us backwards a little bit. And I'll just take control of that as well. So I've got full control of the car at the moment, so don't press anything. That's it. That should be reasonable just there. Before we get too far down this road where there's already meeting situations. Okay. Handbrake. What do I need to do before I come off that clutch?
Put the thing back into neutral.
Yeah, that's what would happen. What would happen if I didn't put it in neutral?
Stall.
Yeah. That's it. And just turn the engine off completely there before it fires up. Cool. Right. So meeting situation. So I just want you to know about your priorities, really. Who should go first. I don't call it right of way because I think right of way is confusing. Have you heard that term before? Oh, it's my right of way or theirs or whatever. To me, it sounds like somebody on the right has priority, and that's not the case. If the road's too narrow, you need to decide who's going to go first, whose priority is it. So basically, who's going to cross whose path. I'll just get you a drawing up. So I'll be helping you to decide this anyway to begin with. So meeting situation. So let's say that there's parked cars on our side of the road and there's an oncoming car coming. We've already decided that the road isn't wide enough really to get us through and them. In this situation, it would be their priority, because the obstruction's on our side and we've got to cross their path to get to where we want to go. So, I'll just rub that out. So let's say that we are this red car.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have priority here? Would it be us, or would it be them?
We would,
Why is that?
because they're gonna have the obstructions on their side, and they'll have to cross us.
Good, yeah. It could be anything there. It could be a skip or anything. Pile of rubble in the road. Cut a story short, they've got to cross our path. So here's an interesting one. Look, there's parked cars on both sides here, and yeah, some are a bit closer than the others. You know, there's so bit on the move. We often have it. It's a bit like that scenario down the road there. We haven't really got time to think. Oh, well, that's a couple of that's 3 foot closer than this one, and
Yeah.
basically, there's parked cars on both sides, so nobody has got priority there.
Okay.
So we've got to look for clues as to who's going to go first. Okay. So clues that we can look for. What sort of factors do you think would help to decide who's going to go first in that situation?
If there's a little space you can tuck into to allow someone to pass, if like how many different obstructions there are if you've got more than one, or
Yeah. We can tuck into a gap to let somebody go. That's not a problem. But if they've already stopped, there's no point in us both all stopping.
okay, yeah.
So we'd look to go through. We're looking for clues like speed and positioning. So if this car's already positioned here, for example, it's more prepared than us to come straight through the gap. If it's faster than us, if it's got a signal on, all those sort of things.
Yeah.
A signal's not necessarily a rite of passage, but it might mean that they're committed. You know, we might get it where the other car stops and flashes its headlights. Have you come across that before, where people flash their lights?
Yeah, they say go on.
Yeah, that's probably what they're saying. In terms of learning to drive and everything, we're going to perceive that as a warning of their presence when they flash the lights. I do that action because you use that stick to do it. You pull it towards you. So we're only going to perceive that as a warning of their presence because that's what it says in the highway code, and when you're studying your theory, that's what the answer is going to be, really. What would you determine? So don't go straight away. Assess the situation, make sure the flashing is for us, because it could be flashing somebody out of a driveway or junction there.
Yeah.
So it flashes, flash, they go out of the junction there, we go, pedestrian crosses at the same time. We all thought it was for us.
Yeah.
So it could be confusing. Same with if somebody waves. Yeah. It's only going to be a warning of their presence. We're not going to be stubborn about it. We will go, but we just got to have a good look around first,
Gotcha.
check the mirrors. Before you pull out of a situation like this, I mean, I'm not really keen on that positioning as that book shows right there. I mean, I wouldn't be at an angle. I'd already be positioned, I would, like this. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the road a bit as well, as long as this car can get through, because then you're ready to come straight through then, and you're already positioned, and you can see, you know, you look at your pillars of the car and you can visualise whether you're going to fit through or not. Yeah. So I think that's important. Same with that there. If you was moving out like that, that'd be late. That'd be late positioning in my book. But anyway. So yeah, if we do give back way as well, always give way a couple of car lengths behind the car once we've decided who's got priority and so on. A couple of car lengths, at least 1.5 car lengths behind the obstruction. Positions left of centre line. The reason for this is, number one, so we can see ahead down the road. Number two, we haven't got all that steering to do to get around the green car, for example. As well, cars on the approach might think we parked if we're too close to the left when we hold back.
Okay.
So that's all the main stuff that you need to know there, really. Lots of talking again, but any questions or any thoughts on that?
So would you ever be able to sort of gauge who's the first person to go just based on, like you said, late positioning? Is that one of the, if they're not effectively ready to go, you take?
Yeah, you've got to take it all into account collectively, really, I suppose.
Of course, yeah. Like it'd be it could be hard. Yeah, because you don't want to just base it off that, because it could just be sort of, well, bad driving or.
Exactly. Yeah. People do position late. The thing with coming out late like this, for that driver to get a normal driving position like that, it's got to come outwards first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably not that much. I've emphasised it a bit too much, but that corner is going to come out more to get square.
Yeah.
So if you're already square as you come through, you're going to take up less space. But yeah, best thing to look is speed and position. Eye contact, well, if it was that far down, we're not really going to see eye contact.
Yeah.
We wouldn't see probably waving hands either, but we would see flashing of headlights. So we've just got to proceed with caution. Yeah. It's a good way of thinking about it. Any other questions?
No, okay.
All right. Let's have a look at it then. I'll be giving you full instruction. I don't expect you to remember all of it, but if you do, then that's fine. Yeah. Talk out loud if you're thinking something that you know, think might be relevant. And so we're going to move off again. We'll probably be using potentially second gear along here at some point. We're just going to keep driving really until there's a safe place so we can pull in and do the whole thing again pretty much. So. Thank you. And just so hang on a minute, I was talking about the lights, but we didn't actually get them on, did we?
No, we didn't. No.
That was good. So that would be a flash of headlights. So you figured that one out.
Yeah.
What we need to do, twist that towards the dashboard 3 clicks. You'll see 2 green icons come on there.
Yep.
Right. So the first green icon is side lights or parking lights. Okay, we meant to use those if you're parked on a road that's got no street lights and it's a 40 mile an hour or more. You supposedly can leave those on overnight, and it shouldn't drain the battery because they're a much dimmer light. But it will mean that cars coming down the road will see the car and approach, and hopefully not smash into the. You know, you're not going to come out for work in the morning and be devastated. Yeah. Hopefully, but they're not for driving. I see people putting them on when it's getting quite dull like this, and I don't know why you'd do that when you could just turn it one more and get your dipped headlights on. So you're going to be reflecting off stuff and all sorts now. So that's much better. So whenever we're driving and we need lights, it's always the last click.
What's the difference between lights and full beams?
Okay, yeah. So full beams are actually called headlights. If you remember it like that, they're the headlights. Yeah. What we've used there is dipped headlights. Okay. So dipped headlights are normal driving lights, and headlights are for
when it's dark.
Yeah, and there's no street lights. So if you're going down a country lane, it's pitch black. The dipped headlights won't be bright enough. You won't see far enough ahead or wide enough outwards.
Okay.
So that's the difference. And then the really dim one is your side or parking lights. I prefer to call them parking lights because it helps you to remember what they're actually for. Yeah. You'd know you've got main beam headlights, as we just said, from the blue icon. So basically, if I pull, there's nothing coming. If I pull that towards, it swaps. So you swap the green for the blue. Yep. So if you pull it back, so you go. There you go. Job done. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay then. So we're going to drive on when you're ready. We're going to prepare the car. So if you prepare the clutch pedal and get it into first gear. And then set your revs. Slightly downhill this time, so slightly lower bike point perhaps and slightly less gas. That'll do just there, keep that still. In fact, lower the bike point a millimetre because it's downhill. Yeah. That's fine. Hand on your handbrake, and we're going to check. I think we'll just. No access over there, green fields and stuff, so just well done, good, and handbrake off, it's clear. Oh, stop it there. Just brake to a stop there, Will, brake to a stop. That's good, well done. Good stuff. So that was definitely a meeting situation, wasn't it? Keep your clutch where it is. Again, just check centre, right and blind spot off the brakes and it should start moving again. Yeah. Because you was already at bite, you see, so the car was prepared to go. Just check your right door mirror again and blind spot, make sure nothing coming through that tight gap there, so there's a junction. And we're just looking ahead, we're looking for any reflections, anything at all, any clues of anything whizzing around that bend. and I don't think there's enough room to get two through there, so something would have to give, wouldn't it? And do you remember it'd have priority if there's cars parked both sides?
They would, because the obstruction's on our side. And
well, if it's both sides like this, nobody would. Steer right, let go with the left hand, so you're not dragging the left over and it get locked up. That's it. And then pull it with the left, let go with the right, for example. Pull with the right, let go with the left, sort of thing. Yeah? Good. Okay. Make sure your clutch is all the way up and off, because did you see? Did it feel sound a bit funny when you accelerated? The reason it did that is because it's not actually in gear when the clutch is depressed, even a little bit. The clutch has to be fully up. So we're going to check centre and right, well done, for moving out past the green car ahead. Parked cars both sides and nobody's got priority. But looking down the road it looks fairly okay, nothing oncoming. Just steer right a bit, we don't want to be too close with the door mirrors if we've got more room on the right. We'll go to second gear when you're ready. So opposite feet, palming technique. Yeah. Clutch gently back up and no gas till your clutch has come back up, or else you could go too fast. Okay, so we've got an oncoming car, just keep coming through at the moment. That one looks like it could tuck in on the right hand side there. Nobody's got priority. Steer right a bit, not too close to the van. Off the gas. That's it. Just show a bit of courtesy there, that's fine. You don't have to, but you can if you want. I normally just put my fingers up off the steering wheel, you know, so you're not taking your hands off. Yeah. But, you know, it's up to you how you want to do that really, as long as it's safe. Just so I can see some reflections ahead, can you? So just come off the gas there, Will. Cover brake, cover clutch, don't press them, steer right. That's it, that's good. Check your centre and right mirror, nice loose steering, lots of clearance around the black car. That's it. Try not to be connected with both hands when you're doing actual steering. When you're straight line driving, yes, be connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So looking down the road, through the gap of the pavement, past that pedestrian, anything oncoming?
No.
No? Okay. That could change as we're coming past these cars, so now looking in reflections of the black cars. And now the road goes uphill, so looking as far as we can over the top of that hedge, past the silver roofs, roofs of the silver car. Again, nothing oncoming. And now there's parked cars on the right hand side, so we would have priority, wouldn't we? Because our side's free.
Yeah. We'd have to cross into our
awesome, well done. You seem to grasp that, so I'll be asking you a few questions about the priorities then, instead of telling you from now on. Is that alright?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Good stuff.
I think it's just joint cars and probably, it's just remembering there's no priority. You just have to keep an eye out.
That's it, it's just working out the best thing to do really, if there's such a thing. So looking underneath the cars this time for anything that could be coming up over the hill. I think your speed's been okay based on your experience and the type of road that we're on. It's not the widest, is it? And there's lots of houses. They're not that set back either, so there could be potential for risk there. We're going to pull in on the left before the silver car now. Okay. So which two mirrors are you going to check?
Centre and left.
Good, come off the gas. Which two pedals are you going to cover?
Yeah, clutch and brake.
Yeah, with the right foot. Steer right a bit, get that reference point in. Clutch down. Steer right. Brake a bit more, and stop. Oh, yeah. Keep your feet where they are. That's fine. And before you move those feet, do you remember what you need to do? To secure the car.
Put it back in the neutral.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you do that, good, and relax your feet. Right. So the brakes definitely work, don't they?
No doubt.
Yeah. So yeah, I just didn't want you. Ideally, was going to. And we nearly did just not block that driveway, but it's a bit awkward at the moment. I'm not that sort of, I am bothered about it, but in terms of you just practicing the skill of parking, of course we're going to look at that in much more depth as we go through.
No doubt.
Yeah. So any thoughts or questions from yourself before I give any feedback there?
Yeah, like like it was okay, and then braking was fine, and then I just sort of went at the end. It was just
I did say stop though.
Yeah.
So you know, a little bit my fault.
Well.
So all you do is you go tempi. If you want to stop.
Just be.
Yeah. Rather than 100 quid.
Yeah.
But no worries.
And then it's just realising you actually have to move the steering wheel quite a bit. Like I think that's where my brain is struggling. Like I'm thinking you just move it like a tiny bit and it goes, like you get forward. But yeah, the idea that this thing goes around 2 or 3 times before, well,
Yeah, that's right.
that's what my brain is struggling to comprehend. Well, not struggling, but just it's not realising that just yet.
Yeah, it can actually, well, as you've seen, it does a full lock is 1.5 steers
Yeah.
from straight. So the steering went much better when you let go with that left hand. I don't know if
Yeah.
you noticed, it all
Yeah.
started to.
Yeah.
And the earlier we're positioning to go around cars, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, okay, just a bit of feedback on the gear change.
Mm-hmm.
When you're changing gears, try not to rip it back too hard, because the gear stick will come off in your hand otherwise.
Yeah.
No, it won't. Well, it shouldn't. I hope
Yeah.
not. But nice and steady. So I'll just demonstrate. So let's say you're in first. Good footwork. Got the feet right. But just with this, just push left first, and then just. So you've got that clonk in the middle.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Just have a practice that without looking. Just look forwards. That's a
Yeah.
bit more rewarding like that.
Yeah, I think I was worried about not putting it far enough to the left and then going into fourth.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I was
No
just like
worries.
pushing it. Really.
Get it in there.
Yeah.
That's fine. So we'll just be a bit gentler next time.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's going all right, really. Not too much to talk about, so let's just keep practicing what we're doing. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps depending on time, we could perhaps look at making a start on junctions, but we'll see. So I'm going to turn the car around here.
Yep.
I just want you to steer for me, and I want you to steer as fast as you can when I ask you to. It's quite a narrow road, so I might have to do this in 5 turns, but just keep the steering wheel straight at the moment, because I want to reverse back a little bit first. You can see a little. I think it's clear. You can see a little bit more than me. Is it clear ahead past that silver car on the right there? Yeah.
Yeah, no one's coming.
Full right lock there now, as quick as you possibly humanly can. I saw a car coming in. It was a Mirage. And then full. Oh, not yet. Full left lock now, quick as you possibly humanly can. Good. Got that left lock on, yeah? Yeah, keep it on. Full right lock now, quick as you can. And then, as we start to feel like we're positioned correctly in the road, start to steer left, so now, so you don't drift into the wrong side of the road. I didn't tell you this earlier, and you actually steered into the wrong side of the road, but it was my fault. And then when you feel straight, just straight. I'm going to stop it there anyway, that's fine, straighten the wheel. And we'll just reverse back a little bit. Steer left for me. Just going to signal left so the car passes, so it knows that we've seen it. Got the reverse lights on as well, so it'll know we're doing something. White reverse lights at the back. Just hold, in fact, do 10 minutes more steer to the left there. Let go with the right and move your left hand up a bit more so it can actually pull down more. That's it, hold it there. Now I want you to do the opposite but to the right. So let go with the left and pull over with the right. That's it. When it gets to the lap, swap with the left, for example, so you don't get locked up or anything. And then when I tell you to, I want you to straighten it back up by steering left and straighten. Hold. Oh, just straightening it. Look at the steering wheel, look at the line there. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. What am I going to do now before I come off these pedals?
Put it into neutral and take the handbrake off.
Yeah, preferably handbrake first, so that if I did forget and bounce off the clutch pedal, the handbrake
is there to stop it jerking forward.
You've got it, you've got it. I think we mentioned that last lesson, didn't we? Yeah. Okay then, Will. So, let's have another go, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel this time about giving it the actual moving off part a go for yourself?
Yeah, we can give that a go, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be watching you and be there every step anyway, so if there's anything that I feel you're going to miss, I'll just voice it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see you
crashed into something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In short, you don't want that on a what day is it? Wednesday afternoon, don't you?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right then. So show me what you'll do then to prepare, observe, and move when you're ready. Just take your time. Talk it out loud if you want to, if you're comfortable with it.
Down.
Yeah.
Set the revs.
Okay. And what gear would you need to get your bike?
Put it in.
Good man.
And check all the blind spots in the mirror.
Yeah, you're right, but before you check those, how are you going to make sure that the car's prepared to drive, that it's prepared to go forwards?
Oh, just take your foot off the clutch and it's just like, yeah, I'll define the bike.
That's it, you've got it. Good. Okay.
And then check all the blind spots in the mirrors.
Well done, Will. Don't let go of the button until it hits the floor. Big yank up first, but don't let go of it until it hits. Well done. Step right. A bit more. Let go with the left so your right hand's able to pull. Good job there. So you probably could do more than you thought there by yourself.
Yeah.
Well done. Good work with the mirror there. Anything behind you?
No.
No? Nice loose grip. Try and hold the steering wheel a little lower down maybe. A bit more comfortable. So ease off, we've got a car coming. Start to brake, 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 brake. Brake, 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 brake. I don't think, just ease off the brakes there. Check your centre right mirror. Let go with the left so your right can steer down. That's it. That's fine. Did you see, because we were slower for longer, it gave that car more time to pass and we didn't have to stop.
Yeah.
So there'll be no point in ducking in and out of the cars here, because we'll stay in the wrong side of the road. It is legal, because there's no solid white line in the middle. Stay out, there's no point in really going back in to come back out. Stay out to the right there. And about ready for a gear change really, if you want to give that a go. So just clutch up. That's fine. You come off fairly quick anyway when I said that, so no worries. Bit gentler with the gear stick that time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So well done. Anything oncoming, you can see a bit more than me, see a reflection.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. Just cover brake and clutch, but don't press them. Because I think we can all weave through here, can't we? That one's going to turn. So we'll just follow the road ahead. Careful of your curb on the left. Careful of this lad who's not walking where he's going. And which two mirrors you're going to check to overtake the Jeep? Centre and which way are you steering?
Centre and right.
Yeah. Better there, earlier steering. And which two mirrors are you going to check to move in after the white Audi? Centre and
left.
Awesome, well done. We're going to pull in on the left along here. Do you want to give that a go for yourself? Nice long distance here, look.
Yeah, try.
We're not looking to get mega close to the curb, remember, so don't worry about that. Okay, so what's the first thing you'd check?
Centre left mirror.
Good. Steer right, not too close. That's it. What goes down first? Steer right, not too close. Clutch down. Okay.
Yeah, I forget.
That's
the clutch.
fine. That's fine. Just two more things to do.
Put it into neutral.
Yeah. Is your clutch down?
No, clutch is down there.
Okay. The reason that's why it's hard to move the gear stick, and that's because the clutch is up a little bit. So that's stopping you from moving the gear stick basically. So put your clutch to the floor, and you should be able to move the stick then and into neutral. Okay. The only reason I was asking you with that is because we've been over it quite a few times, and I don't mean that like, oh, you should get it by now, but I thought you might remember there. But you're probably thinking about the feedback and everything, which is why you've forgot to do it. How did you find that?
It was okay. Yeah, it's big steering's getting a bit, but yeah,
definitely. It is getting better. Not had to stop yet, have we, for an oncoming car?
No.
So that should be interesting when we do that. Parking, not too bad. I just had to keep stopping you from steering left. Do you remember what your reference point is? Well,
middle of the curb. Yeah, the curb should be in the middle of the dashboard.
Yeah, just point to me exactly where that big bit is, so the wiper.
Yeah.
And when it gets there, don't steer don't keep steering left, because the reference point then will come
further across.
Yeah. And if that happens, the left tyre probably is going to
hit the curb.
Yeah. Okay. So you get that there, line it up. Keep your eye on your curb as well, because what does this curb do on this road? Is it, sorry, just to be more specific, does the curb stay straight, or does it?
No, it curves round to the left hand. Yeah.
It does. And sometimes you've got to watch because it curves in towards you.
Yeah.
So you've got to steer with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have another go. We'll have another run now. Sorry, do you want one then?
No, go on then. No, that's fine.
You do?
No, yeah, go on then. Actually, why not? So if I can. Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much.
I just had a big dinner, so I'm just a bit conscious about rotting food stuck in my teeth. Beautiful. All right then. Okay, well, so I think should we give it a go again independently? What do you need to remember this time in order to make the car move? You just forgot one thing about your left foot last time when getting ready, or a couple of things with your left to do with the left foot. After your clutch goes down, you select something, don't you?
Oh, you select, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go, you will have to restart the engine because it's stalled.
Oh.
Is your seat warm?
Reasonably.
I think the heated seat's on yours, you know. If you did want to turn it off, you can. How does it feel?
No, I don't think I don't know if it is. Yeah, is it?
All right.
Oh yeah, but yeah. Sorry.
Let me know if you're on. It's a bit late now. We've done the lesson.
Yeah. What's it? Yeah. The brake. Got completely black now. Completely.
With your left. So, what are you looking for with your left foot? When do you stop moving up with your left foot?
Yeah, bite point.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Good. You got your gas. That's great. Awesome. Yeah, that should be fine. So hands now then.
Yeah.
And what's next?
Check all the mirrors and the.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. And which mirrors now?
Centre right.
Good. Is she going to cross? No. So nobody would have priority here. But because we're already in and amongst the cars, of course it makes sense for us to go through first. So again, it tails back to what we said, like positioning, isn't it really? Road positioning. So when you go second, it's important to come off the gas with your right foot so you don't keep revving. We'll get the car ready first, so a few more revs. Opposite feet off the gas. No gas until clutch is up. Clutch up gently. There we go. And so just in neutral as well at the moment. So clutch back down, palm left, and left first on the gear stick, and forwards into first now. Clutch up gently. 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I would have got you to go in second, but because it's uphill, we lost a bit of momentum. And if we had done, we'd have stalled. Don't want to do that because of the black car behind. You see it. So a little bit more speed going forwards. And we're going to take the next turn on the left. Check your centre and left mirror. Signal left. Just steer into the road for me. It's all clear. Look, it's a nice wide one, or else I wouldn't have got you to do it. There's nothing oncoming. So looking down the road, parked cars both sides, nobody's got priority. Although, would you agree, we could probably tuck into the left there if the Fiesta.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'd know it was turning if it signalled. The car behind could overtake, so just be aware of that. Keep your speed as it is. That's fine. And we're going to go for the gear change shortly. But remember, off the gas, yeah?
Yeah.
And keep it palmed to the left of the gear stick. So left foot down, right foot off. Left foot down, right foot off. Don't accelerate, only clutch up. 1, don't accelerate. Okay, clutch back down. Clutch back down. You just didn't go backwards enough into second.
Okay.
I'm going to do that for you. Into second there. And just clutch up now. No gas, just clutch up. Bit of gas now that your clutch is off, and you won't hear that horrible revving sound. It'll actually do something because your clutch is up, your gear's engaged, the revs go there then. There must be a more technical term than that, but I'm happy with that. Just looking under the van then for any cars coming up the hill, because it bends round to the right. You can see that's the trees in front of us. And you perhaps might fit 2 cars through on this road.
You could be.
So we're going to pull up on the left at a safe place. It's going to be downhill, so just back to that. You might need a bit more.
Front of the van.
Yeah, before we get to that black 4x4.
Yeah.
So, well done. Get your feet ready. Start to brake gently. Brake, brake, brake. Clutch down. Clutch down. Clutch down. Clutch to the floor. Well, that's better with the brakes. What are you going to do next?
Put the car into neutral.
Yeah.
And then put the handbrake on. Then
Awesome. Well done. Good. So, that all went alright, didn't it? Did your first junction as well on the move.
Yeah.
So, again, not too much feedback there, other than about the gear change, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are you aware of what's happening? I know I did say it, but it's all on the move.
You put. I changed into second, then I mistime it and put my accelerator down rather than coming off the clutch first.
Yeah, on the last one you didn't do that though. The last couple, what you've done is you've gone from, God, that's eco start's really annoying, isn't it? I don't like it at all. You when you've gone into first to second, if you look, there's quite a distance between first and second.
Yeah.
So it's that much movement. It's quite a long way actually. So all your but what you've done is you've just gone.
So I've just put it back in the
Yeah, not intentionally, but you've just not gone back enough. You probably felt like you have. You've probably just gone to the gates of second and then it let go.
Okay.
So just practice that. So we're going to move off once more and stop before we finish. Just practice now. Or you pop the clutch down actually. Palm to the left into first. Put the hand back on the steering wheel as though you're driving. Now remember, you've got to follow through. Go backwards quite far to go to second, then first to second. Yeah, go back to first. Back to second. Yeah. So hopefully that'll stick on the move now. Feet was better on the last one. You wasn't still on the gas during the gear change. Do you understand? Just pop it into neutral. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my fault.
No. I'm thinking.
Don't worry. Do you understand why it's making that revving sound? I've explained it on the move, but I'm aware that you're thinking about lots of other things. So.
Yeah, because if you don't take your foot off the clutch, the gear isn't engaged and it's just revving the engine.
Yeah, it's basically the same as sitting here in neutral, just revving. It's the same as really. So. Okay then. Now what we're going to do now is a downhill start. It's called often referred to as a rolling start. If we was to release handbrake, do you see we're going to roll naturally? We're a dead weight. So as part of your POM, prepare, observe, move this time, to prepare the car, all I want you to do is, because this is a really quite steep downhill and we will roll, as you just saw, all I want you to do is pop your clutch to the floor. We're going to come up to bite, but we're going to do that once we're out and rolling. If we already have a bite here, we're going to pick up speed
too quickly.
You've got it.
Yeah, and you just go back. You potentially go in the back of the van.
You've got it.
Yeah.
And you need time to get your steering on, don't you, to get around this lovely Jeep in front. Okay. Everything else is going to be the same, but I need you to use really effective steering. Okay. Your right foot, sorry, not everything else is going to be the same, because your right foot's going to be on the brake, and you're going to be easing off the brake as you feel comfortable with the speed that you're rolling at. So don't come off it if you feel like you need more time to steer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you prepare the car this time by going clutch to the floor, first gear. Sometimes it might be second, but we'll go with first this time.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, squeeze on the brake, because when you put your handbrake, when you take your handbrake off, you don't want to roll. So I'd take the handbrake off now, to be honest, but keep your feet where they are. Next thing we're going to do, just start up the engine with your right hand. Next thing we're going to do is observe round like we usually do. And if it's clear, ease off the brake, 10 pence thickness at a time. Don't do it yet, because oncoming car. Keep up to date in your centre mirror in front, and then okay. I know we're looking in the blind spot as well. Just right blind spot there. Good, yeah. Okay, so steering to the right, nice and loose grip, big steers, top to bottom. Now right hand pulling down. That's it. Let us move though. Keep us moving. Another check in your door mirror and your blind spot. Off the brakes, let it roll. Yeah, now steering back to your left. That's better steering, well done. And now starting to lift up steadily. 1, steer right, you've got it, that's fine. And good, you've engaged first gear. If you hadn't have engaged first gear now, we'd be rolling quite quickly, because we'd be a dead weight. The engine braking is keeping us at a set speed. Well done for getting on the gas. Anything behind or overtaking? Go to second then. So clutch down, off gas. Clutch up before gas. Oh, well done. So park cars both sides. Who's got priority?
Nobody. Well, just based on positioning.
Yeah. Just easing off there. I think it's going on a driveway, isn't it? Cover the. You already are. That's fine. A little bit more speed, or else this one could think we're letting it go and we don't want it to pull out on us. Got a couple of speed bumps coming up in the distance, some crossroads, so just a few hazards to be aware of. I don't want you to slow down for the speed bumps. Some speed bumps we will, some we won't. Well, it depends what speed we're going at. Good clearance from the car, that's it. Your steering's improving loads, isn't it? Keep the same distance, don't.
Yeah, I keep thinking I've got to try and give people more space. Yeah. It's like I'm thinking there's a car coming when there isn't. Just
yeah. Just look really far down the road, as far as you can see, and then zoom your eyes back in and back out and to the side. And we're going to pull in on the left before we reach the silver car. Okay, so I'll leave this to you. So just come off so you change. That's right. Remember your reference point. Don't want to get too close to the old curve. Don't want to be too close. Steer right. That's it. Now slow us down really gradually. You'll need your clutch down to the floor. Okay, very good. Couple more things to do. Awesome, well done. So, how have you found? Does that really draws us towards the end of today's session there? How have you found today?
Yeah, I've learned. Yeah, it's been getting better. Like the steering's getting. I think I'm finally feeling more comfortable with steering, and then towards the end of it. And then I think once I get that nailed, I think I'll be able to like concentrate more on everything else, and it won't. Like I think what was happening is I know how to change gear, but just I'm thinking about everything else, and then it's not embedded in second nature yet. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll let everything else come along, won't it? Because you'll be thinking about it less. Fair enough. And so, more or less moving off and stopping by yourself as well now, aren't you, compared to at the beginning?
Yeah.
So that's good. We've done an uphill start and a downhill start. On an uphill start, where would you bike point B?
Ever so slightly higher than it normally is.
Good. And your revs?
Slightly higher, yeah.
Excellent. And on a downhill rolling start, if it's a considerable downhill, where would your feet be? How would that be different?
Covering clutch and brake. You'd have your foot on the brake to stop you rolling forward, and then you'd gradually come off the brake as you roll forward and change into gear. Well, you'd be already in gear, but the roll will give you the speed necessary to go into first. Yeah, the reason you'd roll is because your clutch would be firmly on the floor, wouldn't it? Yeah. Good stuff. And meeting situations then. So who's got priority if this car's both sides? No one. You just have to judge it off speed and like where they are. Brilliant, yeah. And what's the official meaning of a flashing of headlights or somebody waving you? Warning that they're there, basically. Yeah. Brilliant, yeah. Good stuff. Right, so I think we'll leave it at that. Any final questions or thoughts before we finish? No, it's alright. Brilliant. Right. That's fine.